Good evening, all our friends and fans and family. Thanks for watching another COVID environment show. We're wearing face masks, 6 foot social distancing with all of us. We have a new intern, Caitlin. Welcome aboard. We got the former Rookie of the Year to one of the best volunteers at BPTV Studios, Steve. He's here on a little hiatus from Point Park College.
In the house.
Yes, he's on the cameras. Look at how good he made me look. I didn't even go to a Zazu today. Look, the hair's good.
Here I thought it was the mask.
No. No, but thanks for watching our Pittsburgh Sportsline TV show live in the BPTV studio. We're honored to be able to do another show. Hopefully we'll entertain you about some sports, and who knows what random subjects Smokin' Jim will bring up. You just stay tuned for that. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We have Chip Hayner with me, and Smokin' Jim Frazier was here earlier than 5 minutes to the show time, so we'll go with that. Now I have some promos to bring up. We'll see what our man Steve can do on this. We didn't test it. This is live TV, folks, so anything can happen. And we'll see if that promo comes up. Do we need to hit something else on the camera? There it is.
Bam.
Thank you, Rookie. We got the Rookie come up with this. Olive Oil's Pizzeria sponsors our show with a pizza and a hoagie. We're not allowed to eat it in the studio, and I can't wait outside from 6:25 to 2 minutes to 7 to feed Smokin' Jim. So when we can eat in here again, we'll get pizzas and hoagies. They sponsor our show. Check them out, 412-831-1900 Hillcrest Shopping Center. They're open for business. Order some takeout. They have great Italian food, so check them out. Next up, Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. It's the old 1905 First Bethel Park High School. They remodeled it, had a new roof put on for $150,000, all new windows. They rent it out, and there's many different things and activities they do. Of course, right now it's a little limited, so stay tuned. Go to their website. They're a nonprofit. You can donate money or time. They work on the building every week, I think Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so check it out. There's also my favorite loose leaf green tea place, Reginald's Coffee. They have fresh roasted coffee from all over the world. They have a roaster right there. When it's open, you can see it, but due to the COVID, they can't have anybody in, but you can go outside. I think it's between like 7 and 2 each day, and you can sit in their grass, bring a chair, and sip your coffee or tea. So check it out. Maybe I'll bring Smokin' Jim up there because I think he could use Wi-Fi outside. Next up, we end each show with Stay Joey Strong in honor of Joey Fabus, who died at 9 years old with a dreaded brain cancer called DIPG. And you can go to the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, donate time, money, whatever you want. They have activities. They have a 1 mile 5K run every second week of September. I did it for 5 years. Missed it last year with a kidney transplant that I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary. And for all those concerned in their prayers, I am doing well, 11 months since my surgery. So thank you. And check out the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Next up, another nonprofit, the Bethel Park. Let me hold that up for you, Steve. Bethel Park Community Foundation, bpcf.org. They have money for you. Any of your groups doing good things in Bethel Park, you can get $100 to $5,000. They've given out $975,000 in 25 years, and we're looking at cracking that $1 million mark this year, so stay tuned for that. I'm a trustee on this great board, and we help a lot of great groups and organizations in Bethel Park, so check it out. And I'm going to move on to Dave Cable. Likes to have a little fun at my expense. He put my face on Uncle Sam. Now, Uncle Al, the talking machine, wants you, like Caitlin, to be a new volunteer. And look at her on the control room, our audio, video. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? I want you for BPTV. Call 412-831-3304. Tell Dave Cable that Al Levine, the talking machine, said you need help. And we got some tonight, so we appreciate that. But you can help us on location when we're on location. You can help in the studio and different locations at Bethel Park. So give us a call. And then we love gumbo with We 21, a nonprofit, and the Afro-American Musical Institute. We're set to do something, Steve. This is news for you, so keep your ears open. It was canceled for August 22nd.
I want some gumbo.
You're not even going to eat. It's $2.21. You don't have the money. There's a guy that bets $250 a day, 6 months of not going to the casino. I estimated that $250 a day over 6 months would be $25,000. I asked him what he had on him. He goes, nothing. So stay tuned for when we regroup with that, and then I'll give you another report on location. Steve, listen to that. I got an upcoming event there. And then one more sponsor we have is Skeets Lewandowski of Skeets Service Station, 6103 Route 88, red, white, and blue station. They work on anything and everything that runs on gas. You can bet on it, cars, trucks, tractors, weed whackers, boats, you name it. And they also work on electronic devices like hedge trimmers, tools, and other things. Great place there. Give them a call, 724-348-4715. Tell them Al Levine, the talking machine, said they need an honest mechanic. And even Smoking Jim's gone there to get an inspection. So, you know, for a guy to travel from Monroeville, which he says it's God's country, never rains or anything there, but we know he's not an honest man by that. But he does go there, so trust him.
Yeah, why does their football field have artificial turf?
And on that happy note, we start our show off with What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Fastball.
you got to see Levine. I tell you what, man, I'm glad to sit next to my brother. Chip's getting darker and darker. He got a black man's faded haircut. He's dark. He got the Timberland boots on.
Oh, the disclaimer. For Tony and Carrick, yes, he brought the race card out in the first minute. He kept that streak alive. Continue. That is Smoking Jim's opinion, folks.
And he got the jeans on. I can't tell right now if he's sagging, so we'll find out.
No plumber's crack
He
here.
got the Tia Tomlin face mask on. But Al Levine, the talking machine, you're a little dark there in the elbows. You've been sneaking out in the sun.
No, you know what happened? I think
Spray tan?
when I'm driving my car, I think the sun is actually hitting me, so I have to watch.
On both arms?
No, just one. That I maintain some of that tan.
Get that sunblock.
I have the 50. I bought the kids. I wanted to tell you, Chip.
There you go.
I'll announce it now. I was in TJ Maxx, and I was going to buy the kids, lotion. And I looked there, and they had one, because they discount everything. They had a big bottle, SPF 50, kids non-tearing suntan lotion. I bought it, slathered it on.
Yeah, and I'm telling you what, man, does not burn your eyes.
I didn't start crying when I was cutting grass a month ago when I started to tear up because I had that.
Oh,
but I did buy it.
I thought you were tearing up because you actually had to do something.
No.
Now, are you allowed spray tan or the tan? Or
Not
you
in
allowed
my
to do that?
mind, because you've been busting my chops for almost 9 years now
Yeah.
about that I have a spray tan.
Yeah, yeah.
Since the age of 9, we had Green Tree Pool. I used to get a tan and be as dark as you every year
Yeah.
since 9 years old.
Wow.
And for people that need to know my age, add 55 years to that.
Wow.
So that's how long I was doing it. So I didn't want to tell you officially till now, but that bothered me.
Okay. Well, I got a bone to pick with all of you guys, including the Rookie of the Year, Steve Fisher. Why didn't anybody tell me about Chicago PD? What a great show. Does anybody, you guys, if you haven't watched it, start watching Chicago PD. You'll love it. Steve Fisher, yeah, he gave me the thumbs up, but you didn't tell me, player. But
Smoking
hey,
Jim, I'm watching Gunsmoke.
man, I love me some Gunsmoke.
And I'm watching Bonanza.
Chinese gunpowder.
I love me some Gunsmoke. But hey, I was on KDK radio on Saturday
Sorry I
night.
missed you.
That's okay. And I tell you what, we got somebody called in that was a Slippery Rock graduate.
Yeah.
that's going to try to tell us about the resolution for the coronavirus. Listen, Slippery Rock's a place that you go to become a phys ed teacher. Now, if you want to tell me how many jump jacks to do before I play kickball, I'll listen to it. But this Slippery Rock guy comes on and he says if he was in charge of the country, and most people agreed with him, he would shut down all sports until January, have the best minds in the United States come up with a game plan. Well, first of all, the best minds in the world can't find a solution for the common cold. How are they going to find a solution for this flu virus? And this, you know what I mean? What's the difference between
Well, here,
September
Smoking Jim,
and
I don't want
January?
to get political on you, but other countries had even worse than us earlier. In Europe especially, and they talked about Italy. For some unknown reason, they all started wearing masks, even if you don't believe in them. Guess what they did? They flattened the curve everywhere because they locked down. Italy was even arresting people for going outside if they didn't have a note that they were exercising or something. So that's what happened. And here, we're all individuals. I respect all of you and your opinions, including Smoking Jim. We want to do whatever we want. Well, who leads the world in deaths and sickness? We have 4% of the population and 25% of the sickness.
It's hard to believe.
Now, those are numbers
'Cause I
from,
don't know nobody that has it.
well, you do. I told you last week because, you know, you're always honest. But Don Patterson, God bless his soul, he died and you knew him of COVID.
One person did say he died of that, but I never confirmed it.
I did.
Did you? Okay.
That's what the sources, his
Well,
family
in
said.
Italy, have they found the cure for the common cold? I don't think so.
Well,
We're wearing masks.
let me
now.
give you something about New York. Do you know New York City?
I heard of it
Did you hear that they were the worst at one time with the corona?
because of China.
No, it came from Europe there. Just to correct you, because whatever limited information you have, you haven't got it correct. I don't want to get into this too much, but what they're doing is they flatten the curve. They even had no deaths for a few days in the last week or so.
Okay, good.
So that shows you that Slippery Rock, even though he knows 32 jumping jacks before kickball, you can flatten the curve so people will be safe.
Well,
We're not doing it.
here's what's on my mind.
We are doing it on the show, though. Look at us all masked up, even Caitlin in the control room.
Here's what's on my mind. I feel I've been cursed. Everybody knows I believe in curses.
Yes.
The longest running curse in sports right now is Bobby Lane in 1958 when he got traded to Pittsburgh from the Detroit Lions, where he won 3 world championships, which is equivalent to 3 Super Bowls. He said they wouldn't win another Super Bowl for 50 years. Now it's 63 years later because they ain't going to win this year. That's a curse. You know, you're talking about the Sid Bream curse on the Pittsburgh Pirates when they backstabbed Sid Bream in 1992.
That came out 5 years later, buddy. So somebody like you who's paranoid about curses, like you don't talk about Art Rooney's curse hiring drunk friends and coaching the team.
Well, I will talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers curse, and I added one. I said when they backstabbed Santonio Holmes, they'll never win
He
a
was
Super
shaking
Bowl.
and baking.
And that's the same time they backstabbed Bruce Arians, the greatest coach in the National Football League right now, and 2-time NFL Head Coach of the Year for Todd Haley, a relative.
How many championships has he won?
No, the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't in 10 years count.
How many championships has Bruce Arians won
Pittsburgh
as
Steelers. We're
a
talking about
head
the
coach?
Pittsburgh, the curse
As
on
a
the
head
Steelers.
coach, how many championships?
He's going to win the Super Bowl
So
this
that
year.
would be none and counting.
Now here's the biggest curse.
Okay.
Nobody won. Everybody says I don't know nothing
Don't
about
even
hockey.
mention Flurry.
Nobody's. I said then. I said, listen. One playoff series would pay Fleury's salary for the whole year. The Penguins is already talking about getting rid of one of their goaltenders this year. I said that 3 years ago. I said the Penguins ought to get rid of the head coach because he lost the team. Now they go. Now everybody, including Chip and everybody else, said the Penguins had a good chance to win the Stanley Cup this year.
I predicted they'd win.
Because of their experience and all their outstanding players, were the 24th best team in the NHL, eliminated them, almost swept them. So again, the curse is alive and well, and nobody wants to give me credit for it.
We can't because it's not a curse.
And that's what's on my mind.
Smoking Jim, I have one question about sports. You were a great athlete, but even great athletes that play the game, there's something called age. It affects everybody. You know AGE? AGE.
Yes.
Tell me somebody that can play football forever, basketball forever. Tell me that.
You're saying the Detroit Lions in the
No,
last
tell me-
60 years,
Yeah.
where Barry Sanders and all them didn't have the talent, they were cursed.
Barry-
Bobby Lane put the curse
I
on
don't see how they didn't win a championship with Scott Mitchell.
Great point, Chip. Let's go to Chip Hayner. What's on your mind, Chip?
Oh, thank you. Well, you know, Jim kind of goes off on a tangent.
That's
every
what I
now
said.
and
He's
again.
entertaining.
But I mean, we love him. I love him like a brother. But just to speak to one of his comments, because of course nobody from Slippery Rock has any idea what they're talking about, right? Well, how about all the chancellors of all the Big Ten colleges and all the chancellors of the Pac-12 conference, which are two of the Power Five conferences, have voted to not have any fall sports this year in the interest of assuring their students and the student athletes safety. Now, these are some pretty educated people. I would say pretty
Smart.
close to the top of the food chain. And they seem to think it's a good thing, but what do I know? I digress. Next thing that's on my mind is my beloved Pittsburgh Pirates. And this season, I'm going to lay it out there for you folks, is nothing short of a train wreck. It is painful to watch right now. And I'm a lifelong Pirates fan, and I still watch the games. You know, we got the word today that Joe Musgrove now is on the injured list with a triceps injury. So the pitching staff, well, let's see, they started the year without a pitching staff, but what was supposed to be their pitching staff has been completely decimated. They're hiring people that haven't played in Major League Baseball now since 2017. They're sending them off to Altoona, but there is good news. Because the Pirates didn't lose last night, they're not going to lose tonight, and they won't lose tomorrow night. So, you know what? You got to count your blessings where you find them. But
And that's thanks to COVID.
and I am going to still root for my Buccos because Thursday they lace them up against the Cincinnati Reds, and I will be happy to click the game on and support my Buccos. But I will tell you, it is painful watching this, and I'm never going to give up on them. So yeah, that's what's on my mind.
Smoking Jim, don't you have a question for him?
I support the Pirates too. I got a $200 McCutcheon jersey for $9.99 last year.
Is that from Omar? Is that from Omar? Got it right out of the trunk out here.
Smoking
I
Jim
support
fans,
that.
A white van came pulling into the parking lot, and they said, "Hey, man."
it's a new record, folks. I looked at the tag. It's an 8X. 8X, and he got a 23X size shoe on for $9.99.
Those are not shoes. Those are water skis.
Thank you, Chip Hayner. What's on my mind is, Chip, just to interject with you, I'm still a Pirate fan. I was worried from the beginning of the year. I said we'd see what happened. Little did I know it would be early in the season that we'd see what happened. When you have only a couple legitimate major league players, you do have that happen. It has been painful watching them recently. And what I thought was ironic, to your point, is each pitcher came in, they go, this is his first start in the major leagues.
Yeah.
And when you hear that 3 or 4 times in one game, Houston, we have a problem. And that's my Pirate thing. But what I'm concerned about more is the Penguins. We have a core of players that they kept here. Crosby, Letang, and Malkin, they're all 33, 34 years old. And you reach a point, that's what my prelude to this was with Smoking Jim. Age catches up to every athlete, even Tom Brady. He's done a great job, and he had the greatest cheating coach in the NFL to help him get there. And he's still doing that with getting 7 of his players to opt out. So listen to this. He's trying to get Trevor Lawrence with the worst record You heard it here first, Pittsburgh Sportsline. What bothers me, getting back to the Penguins, you have a core group, but that might have been their last chance to get a Super Stanley Cup. It could be. We'll have to see what Rutherford does. Chip gave me some information on what he said about, different changes coming about. Of course, we tried to get faster. And when you notice the attitude on the ice, the only good period that I saw and they didn't score was the first one of the first game. 18 shots. Like Chip says, what was the quality? I go about half were good shots. So that was the theme of their series. And like I always say, there's a power outage when your top players don't score, because all you need is one more goal. We needed 3 goals to beat them the other day. We didn't have it.
And if you looked at the performance in Friday's game, that was a pathetic example of the way a team should present itself in an elimination game. It looked like they couldn't get out of Toronto fast enough. I don't know if they had tea time Saturday morning.
Or I think it was get out of the bubble as quick as you can.
Get out of the bubble and get home to their family, because they certainly didn't have any interest in playing another hockey game.
Smoking Jim.
They weren't playing well before the corona, remember?
That is correct. Actually, their record in their last, I believe, 11 games was 1-10.
Sound like coaching.
Well, and I have to agree with you there,
Right.
because somehow the message is just not getting through to the players, okay? And, the Penguins' biggest problem now is they have so much money tied up into so few players, and I've said this for years.
Yeah.
That what it does is it inhibits their ability to bring
get
in
people.
any free agents. They have to take what they can get, and the moves that Rutherford made were woefully inadequate. And the Penguins' defense, I said last week that on a good day it's average, and their performance in this last series was well below average.
No doubt about it. We've gone off on a couple tangents for you, but we're just trying to spread the good word. And the life expectancy of a coach in the NHL is 4 years. So we signed him to an extended contract in his 4th year. So that happens. So Smoking Jim, when you look for negativity, eventually it comes to you. On that, we're going to come back with some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Show blitz. He throws the pass up.
Remind me after this to get a free match.
No.
We need your help to vote for our farmers market as the best in the area. Our Bethel Park Farmers Market has been nominated in the top 10 for the City Paper's Best in Pittsburgh 2020 Readers Poll for the best farmers market. We're so excited to have this opportunity for our market to shine and for everyone to know what we already know, that our market is the best around. Voting runs now through Wednesday, September 2nd. You can vote by visiting Bethel Park Recreation Farmers Market on Facebook or by visiting our market website at www.bethelparkfarmersmarket.com. Winners will be announced in the Best of City Paper issue coming out October 7th. Thank you in advance for your help.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. Thanks, Chip Hayner, my main man, Rookie of the Year. And we got Caitlin on the 1s and 2s back there. But I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine,
What?
Everybody knows that I went to the University of Gateway, and where football was king. And
Was.
even though I wrestled and ran track, nobody came to watch. And we're supposedly had a great baseball team, but we didn't have a field. Now, other than PNC Park, Gateway probably has the best baseball field.
No way.
And this side
Go
of
to
L2.
North Allegheny.
That's better. Have you seen it on 48? in front of the high school, Gateway's new baseball field?
I will look.
Man, it's beautiful.
I'll
I
be,
ain't
I'll be in
exaggerating.
God's country tomorrow.
If they had that, I'd have continued playing baseball through high school. But
Tell me one player that was on your team.
I can't remember. It was an all-white team.
He
I
didn't play.
remember that.
He didn't play.
I was the only brother on the team.
You know what?
Only pitcher in the
Yeah,
league.
the only reason why Jim didn't make it on the team because his batting average was lower than his weight.
I could at least get one hit a game. I could at least get that.
Yeah.
But
We need to see the records.
always got the
below
most
the
ice cream at
Mendoza
the Dairy
line.
Queen. After coaches would take us to the Dairy Queen, I always got the most ice cream. So
Tell me one of your coaches. I want
I
the
can't
facts.
remember.
How about when you played ball at Cal U? 1982?
I remember everything about Cal U. But I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking
Cal
Yeah.
U in 82.
I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine. We
What?
didn't even have a home baseball field.
I know you said that
The
earlier.
baseball players had to play at the junior high, which was on the other side of Monroeville, so nobody went to the game.
Yeah.
You heard about these guys, but at Gateway at that time, the only people that there's a lot of people that got letters, but the only people that got Letterman jackets were the football team. Everybody else just got a letter to put on their mantelpiece at home. So nobody wore a Letterman jacket. None of the baseball players wore Letterman jackets or anybody. And one of the coolest dudes in the school, he wore, and we had a couple study hall classes
Yeah.
together. only class I remember in high school was typing, but I had a lot of study halls. But but he used to wear flannel shirts every day.
Yeah.
He wore it was before the gangs, you know, the gang scarves. He would wear that because he had long hair and jeans like Chip got on now.
Yeah.
But he didn't have the brother Tim's. He had on regular tennis shoes. But he was a cool dude.
Yeah.
You know, I knew he could play because the team was almost undefeated.
Almost.
You know, in regular season.
Almost.
Yeah, they didn't go far in the playoffs, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting at graduation, Chip. I didn't go to the graduation rehearsal, so I was a little bit out of step at graduation. I'm sitting in the graduation. First thing they say, now I can't remember if he was at graduation, but the first thing that the principal said, and who I don't remember who the principal was in my high school, but I do remember him saying this. The first pick in the Major League Baseball draft is Tim Conroy
Wow.
of the Oakland A's, my buddy. And I'm sitting there, and in today's dollar, his signing bonus would have probably been close to 10, 12 million. The number that he got, they announced his number then, that was like unbelievable.
He made it to the bigs, right?
Yeah, a week later he was pitching on TV.
Wow.
Now they was dinging that ball. You thought they had aluminum bats. They sent him right down to AAA, but he pitched a couple innings. He started a week later. He was a left-hander. First time ever seen him pitch, and they pretty much took his confidence. But he's still in Major League Baseball. He's a scout for Kansas City Royals right now.
Wow. How'd you
And-
find out about
and
him?
I think he played 10, 12 years in the majors between minor leagues and
I
the
remember
major
him
league.
pitching. I remember him pitching.
But he was drafted on graduation day and made all that money, and I had no
Wow.
idea.
What year
he
was
a
that?
player. You
What-
know what?
what year was that?
It was prior to 1982.
And that's what's on my mind. That's the fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Who knew? Who knew? And was a cool dude. Very cool dude, man.
Thanks for your great references on him. I'm not going to ask any other players that you even knew on your football team, but I know you know them.
Yeah, I know them.
I
Yeah.
know. How's that? How can you know football? You don't know baseball. Get out of here.
Or wrestling or track.
Thank you, Smoking Jim Frazier. Next up, we'll get Chip. You should tell her when I say thank you.
Okay, well, everybody, good evening. And I decided to bring to light a topic that's near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
Obviously, this has to do with the game of Major League Baseball.
What a surprise.
And it's about some of the injustices that have been done in Major League Baseball, and especially to Major League Baseballs that were tainted by a gambling
Whoa.
accusation. And no, I'm not talking about that degenerate gambler from Cincinnati. Who I'm talking about?
You mean the greatest singles history in baseball that won't be in the Hall of Fame?
The person I'm talking about is Joseph Jefferson Jackson, affectionately known as Shoeless Joe. And Joe Jackson lived from July 16, 1887 till December 5th, 1951. Nicknamed Shoeless Joe, he's an American outfielder who played Major League Baseball in the early 1900s. He is remembered for his performance on the field and for his association with the Black Sox scandal, in which members of the 1919 Chicago White Sox participated in a conspiracy to fix the World Series. As a result of Jackson's association with the scandal, Kennesaw Mountain Landis, the first commissioner of baseball, banned Jackson from playing after the 1920 season, despite his exceptional play in the 1919 World Series, in which he led both teams in several statistical categories and set a World Series record with 12 base hits. Since then, Jackson's guilt has been fiercely debated, with new accounts claiming his innocence, urging Major League Baseball to reconsider his banishment. As a result of the scandal, Jackson's career was abruptly halted in his prime, ensuring him a place in baseball lore. Now, just to give you an idea of how good of a player that Shoeless Joe was, he is one of the few players to have hit for 400 in a Major League Baseball
His
season.
rookie year.
Yeah. He played left field for most of his, currently the third highest career batting average in Major League history. In 1911, Jackson hit for a 408 average. It is still the sixth highest single season total since 1901, which marked the beginning of the modern era for the sport. His average that year also set the record for batting average in a single season by a rookie. Babe Ruth said that he modeled his hitting technique after Jackson's. Wow. Jackson still holds the Indians and White Sox franchise records for both triples in a season and career batting average. In 1999, he ranked number 35 on the Sporting News list of the 100 greatest baseball players and was nominated as a finalist for the Major League Baseball All-Century Team. Wow. The fans voted him as the 12th best outfielder of all time. He also ranks 33rd on the all-time list for non-pitchers according to the win shares formula developed by Bill James. But Shoeless Joe, his batting average, career batting average, 13 years in the Major League, 356. The man could just flat out hit a baseball.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because information has come out that, he was inadvertently
He couldn't read.
associated.
He couldn't read.
He was inadvertently associated. He never really did accept any money. Subsequently, he was banned for baseball, and the ban has been in effect now for 100 years. So when people like my dear friend to my left suggest to me that Pete Rose should be eligible for baseball immortality, well, Pete Rose has been banned for baseball now for 40 years,
30-some years.
35 years. He's got another 65 to go before he could be considered, because Shoeless Joe's been waiting 100.
That's why nobody watches baseball. Put a man on second base.
I watch in every game.
10th inning. Put a man on second base.
I watch baseball. What's smoking?
Is it true that Shoeless Joe Jackson couldn't read or write?
At that time.
At that time, yes.
He became a
So I
businessman
guess
later.
you don't need to read and write to play baseball. It's overrated.
No, not to be able to hit, not be able to hit the ball. And
It's
and
true.
you know what? And he was so good, he got a hit 4 out of every 10 times at bat.
That should be the norm.
Well, unfortunately,
According to you,
that's
a
not-
non-baseball expert that
Yeah,
doesn't
you
even know a
couldn't- you
player or
couldn't break the
coach.
I used
Mendoza
to
line.
choke up on it.
You couldn't break the Mendoza line.
He's not even close to reality. Thank you. Enough from Smoking Jim. He's just entertaining. We appreciate your entertainment factor. Thank you, Chip Painter. That's one of my heroes there, Shoeless Joe.
Yeah, they said, say it ain't so, Joe.
My hero too. He didn't know.
You didn't know him. Caitlin, for all these commercials, it gets a little confusing, and she's doing a heck of a job.
Oh,
We
she's
appreciate
doing
it.
stellar.
Definitely. On location, actually, I had a meeting yesterday with Master Zhang at the Wexford Zhang Taekwondo Studio.
Wow.
What a great facility there. And we talked about doing a show. He's going to do an exhibition, get some people from across the country that are champions at Taekwondo. And we're going to try to do a show sometime in October, maybe the second or third Saturday. So, Steve, get ready for a Saturday show, second or third week in October. Smoking Jim, I'll give you the address. And it's out in Wexford. So we're looking at doing an hour show there. And the other show with the Jumbo, or the Gumbo, although our man, John Zarpere, he likes jumbo sandwiches. We talked about that on Pittsburgh Sportsline. That's why I always go with the Jumbo Gumbo. So we might do a combination. So we'll see what happens. That's all I have on location. If you have any ideas, I'm looking at maybe doing some shows or trying to talk to some of the local gyms in boxing and MMA to try to promote them, because hopefully they can get out there and do their thing. You know, there's a lot of great athletes out here with their careers on hold. So hopefully we can get back to that, and we'll see what happens. And we'll be back, since we have Anthony did the new commercial, we'll be back with some Penguin talk, then Steelers, Pirates, and NFL, and other sports.
And his pass is broken up by Tatum. Tipped off.
We need your creativity. The Bethel Park Recreation Department is looking for a new logo and slogan, and we want you to help. Get inspired and submit your ideas by Tuesday, August 18th, and you could win up to a $200 Amazon gift card. The winner of the new logo will receive a $100 Amazon gift card, and the slogan winner will receive a $100 Amazon gift card as well. Complete contest details can be found on the Bethel Park Recreation and Community Center Facebook page. If you don't have Facebook, call 412-831-1328 for information. The contest is open to Bethel Park residents of all ages. We're looking forward to seeing your entries. We need your help to vote for our farmers market as the best in the area. Our Bethel Park Farmers Market has been nominated in the top 10 for the City Paper's Best in Pittsburgh 2020 Readers Poll for the best farmers market. We're so excited to have this opportunity for our market to shine and for everyone to know what we already know, that our market is the best around. Voting runs now through Wednesday, September 2nd. You can vote by visiting Bethel Park Recreation Farmers Market on Facebook or by visiting our market website at www.bethelparkfarmersmarket.com. Winners will be announced in the Best of City Paper issue coming out October 7th. Thank you in advance for your help.
And his pass is broken up by Tatum. Tipped off.
Thanks for not changing that dial. Thanks for watching our show. We appreciate you fans out there. We're glad we could provide a show during our COVID lockdown mode type of thing here in the studio. We're honored to be doing a show. What do you think of the John O. Praskak painting here? Three River Stadium, one of the best stadiums around for football. Baseball, not so good, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, it wasn't a baseball
We
stadium.
just have a little Penguin recap with it. 2 years in a row, first round and out. There's changes that are coming. The Penguins are very proactive in putting a good team out there in spite of Smoking Jim's dreaded curse.
Well, the Penguins, there was a lot of talk, a lot of hype going up, going into the bubble, and the Penguins just simply fell flat on their faces.
No spirit, no real spirit.
This is a team that one of the things that Jim Rutherford said this afternoon, this team has to get younger, okay, and they need to get people with some enthusiasm for the game because, we've got star players on our team that don't play like stars.
Right.
And I mean, even Jake Gensel is a young and up and comer. Where did he go? Evgeny Malkin, did he forget to go to Toronto?
Yeah.
I mean, other than having a few shots on net in the first game,
Yeah.
he completely disappeared. He had one assist for the whole series, and this is something that once things start not going the Penguins' way. And this happened with the Islanders last year.
Oh yeah, it was
And
terrible.
it happened, because the first two games against the Islanders, the Penguins should have won. And in the second two, it was like they quit. And the first two games with Montreal, the Penguins played out relatively good games.
Yeah.
They were in it in the first game. The second game, they won.
Yeah.
Okay. But from the third game on, they're up 3-1, and they just completely tanked. And Montreal wanted to win. I mean, they played
They were
with
faster
a will
and
to win.
they stuck to their plan.
And to add insult to injury, you figure, okay, well, so we got bounced from the first round of the playoffs. Well, at least we'll get a 12.5% chance to get the ping pong ball for the first pick in the draft.
Right.
And they ended up with the 15th. Wow. So
Didn't work.
no, it didn't work. And the Penguins have to give up either their first round draft pick this year or next year for to the Minnesota Wild for picking up Zucker.
Yeah.
And Zucker didn't really. I mean, he
He didn't light
show
the
up.
world on fire.
No, well, there wasn't anybody on the Penguins that did. When the Marino is considered to be the best player on the ice for your team,
Right.
and I'm not talking about Dan, guys.
He's a defenseman.
But,
They play the defense, Smoking Jim.
But the Penguins' defense is woeful at best. Is Chris Letang going to still play here in Pittsburgh? We'll see.
Smoking?
I got a question I think most people want to know.
Well,
I
we
don't
know
even
you want to know.
I don't even know if you guys know. But when does the Penguins go to training camp now?
I believe it's not until November or December.
I thought it could be December. Wow. Yeah.
Because they're going to be playing. I mean, they're now playing 4 7-game series. So this is August the 11th. So literally, they could be playing into October to finish the Stanley Cup Finals. So
No, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Unlike you, Smoking Jim, we just don't throw the Pittsburgh teams, except for football, under the bus.
Well,
We know how you are.
Like I said before, if I had something to do with it, you wouldn't have had any non-essential sports. No hockey, no basketball till next year. Now baseball, I can't argue with that because I do watch the Korean baseball in the morning.
Right.
But they should have just waited for the NFL, which is an essential
You
sport.
segued into a great subject. How come I'm not hearing much about the NFL?
They're in training camp.
Why aren't I getting reports about how good training camp
There's
is
no
going?
newspaper. There's no newspaper.
there's no reporters. They're allowed at
They're
camp.
there. The reporters are there. Yeah,
Well, why aren't we hearing anything?
because there's no newspaper. What newspaper is there?
Well, newspapers are just about dead. I took a buyout 10 years ago, buddy. I saw this all coming. They're dead. Now the writers are going on strike at the Post-Gazette. They're a little bit late. They're a little bit late. 3 years of practicing a contract negotiations. They're unlike the Players Association of the NFL. Rule number 1, never accept the first offer from owners or owners of a company.
I've always accepted the first.
Yes, and that shows that if you want to do business, don't talk to Smoking Jim. And if you want to be an NFL player, don't agree to the first
Well,
contract.
and it still remains to be seen. Right now, they've got the players sequestered to a degree. They're still going home to their families. They're stressing the importance of social distancing, wearing masks, not going out to clubs. You
And
know,
strip
but,
clubs for chicken either.
but all of this is going to change once games start being played and teams start traveling. And I don't see how they're going to be able to avoid the same thing that's happened to Major League Baseball. Now, you look at the St. Louis Cardinals. The St. Louis Cardinals, okay, the Pirates have played 16 games already. Yes, their record is 3-13. St. Louis Cardinals have played 5. Okay, they had their series against the Pirates canceled for this week. Their series against
Was it Philly?
no,
it
I think
wasn't.
it might have been Chicago.
Minnesota.
For their weekend series. Now the doubleheader that they were supposed to play tomorrow against Detroit has been postponed. So, you know, and now at what point they have 45 days now that they have to play 55 games in, okay? Logistically, how can they do that? And I don't think it can be done. So now that being said, where does the competitive balance come into play? Because if you go by winning percentage, if every other team plays 60 games and the St. Louis Cardinals play 16 and they have a higher winning percentage than somebody, how do they qualify for the playoffs? They shouldn't be able to qualify for the playoffs unless they play the
Some minimum.
proper number of games.
There got to be some minimum number.
So that all being said, you know, the same thing is going to happen when you start putting football teams with twice as many players and support crew as you have on a Major League Baseball team, and you're putting them into airplanes and you're flying them into cities. And, you know, how are you going to keep these young men from going out
Getting sick.
and deciding to go to a club?
Well, first of all, if you look up in the dictionary unessential, you'll see Major League Baseball.
We didn't see it. I looked.
That's the difference. The NFL is essential sport. We're not going to have those kind of
Jim,
problems.
you know what?
There's not going to be any of those problems
Well,
in
Folks,
the NFL.
there's a little disclaimer. Remember, Smoking Jim is an honest man. He's saying the NFL won't have any trouble with Corona. Mark this day down.
There's 90 players.
August 11th, 2020. You heard it here first.
The NFL started with 90 players in camp, no problems at all. They cut 10 players because when they cut the exhibition season down to 80 players. Ryan Switzer is having the greatest camp maybe any Steeler player's ever had. He's eating it up out there. The Pittsburgh Steelers have no players that opt out. You know what I mean? This is going to
Thanks
be,
for your update.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Listen, you got professional wrestling, which is an essential sport. They're on TV 3 times a week. There's no corona. There's no problem. They're sweating on each other. They're breathing on each other. There'll be 0 problems in the NFL. And I'll say this, and I'll get back to you, Chip. I'm kind of starting to agree with all these great minds from these colleges. Because the NFL is so big now, why not play football forever in the spring? Because you can't compete against the NFL, and that way we'll have football all year round. I want football in the spring. Move it. Because the NFL.
And that will not happen.
Listen,
Because
if you
no,
take away.
draft.
Stop
let
it.
me, let
stop,
me ask you
no,
this.
Stop
let
and
me ask
listen
you
to
one question.
No,
Let me
stop
ask
and
you-
listen.
let
And
me
I'll
ask
ask
you
you a question
Okay.
after you listen to me. Okay? You can't even get college seniors to play in a bowl game in January because they want to get ready for the combine.
Don't need
They
'em.
want to get ready for the draft.
Don't need 'em.
Yeah. So
Don't need 'em.
how are you going to get them to play college
I don't need
football
'em.
in
I
the
just need
spring
football.
when they're going to be getting ready for their one opportunity to cash in and get an NFL
When the
contract?
Scabs are out there in Steeler uniforms, I watch them. I paid $75. I used to have to pay for tickets there. I paid $75
You never
a
paid
ticket to watch that.
$75 for anything.
for my season ticket.
Hey, Smoking Jim, I got an NFL update for you.
Let me ask you one question before this.
Go ahead.
And this is a reason why I want football moved to the spring. You take away March Madness, nobody watches basketball. True? Nobody watches basketball.
I watch it
without
all year.
March Madness.
I watch it all year.
So put the football in the spring and the NFL in the fall. But go ahead, Al Levine.
All right,
Talk
my
to-
NFL update. 4 teams announced that they're not going to have fans in the stands. Whether the Steelers are still delusional because you have a limit on how many people
The
can
governor
even.
won't let them.
Yeah, but 4 teams did it. One of them is your favorite new team, the Las Vegas Raiders. Wow. They had and listen to this, $571 million in tickets sold. Wow. Guess what? they're not making any money, so they're going to lose $571 million. The three other teams, I think New York and somebody else, a couple New York
I
teams,
believe
they're going to lose
both-
$1.3 billion in ticket
Both
sales.
New York teams. I also heard that both LA teams are not going to be playing. In
Yeah,
front
I
of
didn't hear
fans.
that yet, but
And I know the Philadelphia Eagles are already not playing in front of fans. this
right,
year.
that's the four teams. The
How's
two
that
New
affect-
York.
How does that affect me? I want to see people on TV. I
Well,
wanna watch
being
it on
an
TV.
essential sport like you and somebody else in charge of the country says it's essential, they just lost $1.3 billion, these four teams. If you multiply that out by the league, everybody losing 200 or 300 million, you're looking at about 3 or 4 million losses, 3 or 4 billion losses.
3 months ago, I gave y'all the cure for that.
What?
And all of you guys, including the Rookie of the Year, Steve Fisher,
What was it?
pay-per-view will cover that all up. But you'll be paying for it. You'll be paying for a package.
Here's what I'm going to do.
$5-6 on a weekend.
I wouldn't pay for
I
it.
can promise
yeah,
you,
that'll
I
get
wouldn't.
that money back real quick.
Smoking
I-
Jim,
you
I'm
know
cured
what?
of watching football then.
If ball
You'll
gun
pay for
comes pay for, no, I will not.
Stephanie will want that.
No,
paid.
she will not. I guarantee you, she won't.
Smoking Jim, I'll just tell you this much today, again, August 11th, that I will not watch pay-per-view football.
Can I ask you one question?
You did, but
Can I
ask
you
a second one.
question? There's 75. The Pittsburgh Steelers can get 70,000 people in their stadium, right?
68.
Close to it.
Now, how many people is in southwestern Pennsylvania? Millions, right?
No, in Allegheny County, 1.2 million.
1.2. But how about in southwestern Pennsylvania? They're all
Maybe
even
3 million.
areas.
Maybe 3 million.
3 million. So you're losing the money from 70,000, but you're getting it back from 3 million with pay-per-view.
10%.
You'll be one
Not
of
gonna
them.
get- no, I
$10
will
bucks a
not.
weekend.
I will
10
not.
bucks. $10 a weekend. Come
I
on,
will
Chill.
not.
Let me
I
do
will
another
not.
disclaimer. As per my previous conversation, if you want to do business, please do not talk to my BFF, Smoking Jim Frazier,
That's
about
my
business.
first offer, 10. They could probably get 25 a weekend out of Chip, but I'm only want 10.
It's not happening.
Win 10-10.
Again, Smoking Jim is very entertaining, but the truthful aspect is negative. Negatory on that. Bad idea. Not
Now,
going to
you know
happen.
what? And we'll see what happens because you know the curve hasn't flattened, and outbreaks are going to happen. And then what's going to ultimately end up happening is it's going to affect the competitive balance of the league. And you know, come on.
You
The
sound
only
like
way
a
the league
slippery
works
rock
is if
graduate.
every team plays 16 games. And that every team has to have their star players playing.
Huh?
Ben Roethlisberger tests positive. Okay, you think the Steelers are going to have to be able to rely on the quack?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
He's the
Yeah.
best quarterback on the
Yeah,
team. My
you're
bad.
right. Yeah, he
Smoking
really
Jim.
proved that last year, didn't he?
3-3. What's that translate to
4
this
and
year?
3.
3-3. No, I threw the
I
one
caught
out.
that Cincinnati.
No, I don't. 3-3.
Yeah,
3-3. This is not okay.
Yeah.
3-3.
a fried duck breast.
And nobody else drafted him. When they let him go, there were zero interest in him. They re-signed him because
You know what the Steelers
nobody
are going
wanted
to do?
him.
They're going to drop the duck and they're going to bring in Blake Bortles.
That would help. I'm with you. I second that emotion. That was a second proposal. And Smoking Jim, I'll negotiate with you any day and twice on Sunday.
But okay,
Please.
moving on.
Yes.
Let's talk Pittsburgh Pirates. Okay.
Yes.
And the wheels have fallen off the bus early this year. I watched one of the most disturbing things that I've ever seen on a baseball field happen Saturday afternoon. And once again, Gregory Polanco was in the center
Oh,
of it.
tell them about it.
You know, Gregory Polanco has been playing professional baseball now for more than 10 years, you know, between the minor leagues and playing in the pros. And, you know, when I was taught to play baseball in Little League, you know, and I was an outfielder, I was a first baseman, I was a third baseman, you know,
Pitcher.
and I was a pitcher. But, you know, when you played the field position and a fly ball was hit, yes, you're tracking the ball. And you're looking to see, do I have a beat on this? Do I have a line to the ball? And once it was determined that, you know, and these are split-second decisions that you have to make. When you realize that you're going to be able to make it to that ball, you yell, I got it, I got it, I got it, so that your other teammates
Blacks off.
back up from them. Well, here comes Gregory Polanco and Phillip Evans charging hard for the ball. and you
Just
know,
like they're taught.
you know, and nobody calls anybody off, and Polanco catches the ball, elbows him in the head, breaks his jaw. He's out for the season. The only person on the team that was hitting. He was batting 360 something.
Yeah.
And now he's out for the season. His one opportunity to play Major League Baseball. And, you know, will he get another opportunity next year? It's hard to say. You know, will he be the same? But, you know, Gregory Polanco, when he saw that he had a beat on that ball, should have been screaming, I got it, I got it, I got it, and called off his teammate. He didn't do it, and subsequently he laid somebody out. And it's just one after another with Gregory Polanco.
Right.
These foolish,
Well, how about his slide that we both saw?
boneheaded mistakes, you know.
One of the worst slides I ever saw in my life.
He missed a
Even
year and a
Smoking
half.
Jim knows how to slide.
He missed a year and a half, and his left arm, which at one point when he first
It was
came
a
up,
cannon.
he was throwing out runners going to first base from right field on bases on balls that should have been singles.
Like Clemente.
Now his arm
Can't.
is suspect. You know, occasionally he runs into one. He hit one into the river the other day.
Yeah.
But he swings and misses far too much. And, you know, the thing is, with Gregory Polanco, Pirates aren't even going to get a bag of used balls for him.
Right.
You know, he's going to end up being another Pedro Alvarez. He's going to be designated for assignment, if not during the season this year, then over the winter, because the Pirates just, you know, they're not going to pay somebody $6, $8, $10 million.
Well, they're rebuilding, so they need quality.
You know, and the sad fact of it is they're not even going to get draft picks for him,
Right.
or even minor league prospects.
Should they have kept Partey?
No.
Just get rid of anybody with talent.
Well, you know what? When you're rebuilding, that's what you do. You have to start all over again.
And rebuild for
Marte has
30
started
years.
off this year, and you know, and let's not forget about this. Starling Marte's wife died of a heart attack. She was a young woman. She was only like
Yeah.
30 years old, and you know, my heart goes out to him and his family. You know, for losing his
Sure.
wife. The first home run he hit, he wrote in his native language on the baseball. You know, to the love of my life. You know.
Sure.
You know, it's a sad, tragic thing. Starling Marte gave us some good years, okay?
Yeah.
But, you know, it was
He
time.
was good, but he was lackadaisical,
Golden
too.
Golden glove.
Yeah, but he was also like Smoking Jim. When he doesn't care about playing, he don't play, even if it's essential.
But, you know, what we got for him was prospects, which is what we need to do, because the previous administration, the cupboard was bare. They got rid of all of our prospects. Austin Meadows, Tyler Glasnow are now both all-stars with the Tampa Rays. And
Yeah.
what did we get back for him?
And
Chris
Smoking
Archer,
Jim, you
who
know
isn't
Austin
pitching.
Meadows, don't
I
you?
love him.
He had COVID.
I don't believe it.
Start of the season.
30 years of rebuilding for the Pirates.
Well, they had a good run for 3 years. They made the playoffs for 3 years. I'll tell you what, October 1st, 2013 was one of the most exciting sporting events I have ever been to in Pittsburgh,
That's when they had
bar
the
none.
cushion, huh?
I was
They
there.
did. Well, enough of that. Hope you enjoyed our show. Thanks, Smoking Jim Frazier. Thanks, Chip Hayner. Thanks, Rookie of the Year, Caitlin. Thanks, MVP, Steve. He's the MVP of BPTV. And thanks for watching us. This is Al Levine thanking you for watching our shows. We'll be back next week. Please stay Joey strong.